Okay, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Emily Belanger with Louisiana State Bar Association. Welcome to our Law Talks virtual workshop series. Today's Law Talk is on public benefits. We have attorney Madeline Victor with Southeast Louisiana Legal Services presenting on this important topic. Can you go to the next slide for me? Thank you. Before we get started, I need to go over a few important reminders. First, this presentation is being live streamed. Questions will be taken at the end if time permits and answered live. If you're watching at a library, you may walk up to the computer to ask a question, or you can submit your question to the library staff. If you're watching via Zoom, please use the Q&A function. And if you're watching via Facebook, please submit questions in the comment section. Please remember that all comments are public and visible during and after the presentation. Finally, please keep your questions general and not case specific. The attorney can provide information about the law and legal processes, but cannot give advice on individual cases. Next slide, please. Please note that the information provided in this presentation does not and is not intended to constitute legal advice. Instead, all information, content, and materials are for general informational purposes only. No viewer of this video should act or refrain from acting based on information provided in this presentation without first seeking legal advice from counsel in the relevant jurisdiction. If you need assistance finding legal help in Louisiana, please go to the Louisiana Civil Legal Navigator. The LSBA's inclusion of a program is not to be deemed a statement or an endorsement of the views expressed therein by the LSBA or any member of the LSBA. Speakers on LSBA programs are carefully selected for their knowledge, but neither the LSBA nor the speaker warrant that the presentations or materials were free of errors or will continue to be accurate. Statements in the presentations and their materials should be verified before relying on them. Opinions expressed are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the LSBA, its sections, or committees. Views expressed are those of the authors and contributors only. So as I mentioned, our presenter today is Madeline, and she has a lot of experience working with the public benefits issues. And so thank you so much for being here, Madeline, and I will turn it over to you.
Hi, thanks for having me. Good afternoon. My name is Maddie Vidger, and I'm a staff attorney at SLLS, Southeast Louisiana Legal Services. I've been here about 5 years, which is the most of my legal career. And I have had the fortune of working in 2 units at SLLS. I was in the tenants' rights unit for a few years, and now I do public benefits. I still do some housing cases. But I love working at SLLS and providing legal aid. So this is a little bit about us. Southeast Louisiana Legal Services. We are the biggest nonprofit law firm in Louisiana. We do not charge fees for any of our clients. All of our legal services are completely free. We do civil legal services. We don't do criminal cases, but we do criminal record expungements. We don't do fee generating cases. We don't do big lawsuits where they were suing for a lot of money. We don't do class action lawsuits, but there are nonprofits that do those lawsuits in Louisiana. And we prioritize emergency legal needs, especially evictions, disaster relief, and we have income restrictions. You have to be very low income to be eligible for our services. But it's based on your household size. So you may think, well, my income's not that low, but if you do have a large household, then check in with us no matter what, and we can screen you to see if you're eligible, and then we can refer you out if you are over income for our services. So what does SLLS help with? These are our big practice groups. We have family law, so they do divorces, custody by mandates, protective orders. We have our homeownership preservation and tenants' rights units, so a lot of eviction defense, Section 8 terminations and other subsidy terminations, and then illegal lockouts if your landlord has locked you out or shut off the utilities. We help with that. We also do foreclosure prevention if you are a homeowner and problems with mortgage companies. With public benefits, we do unemployment, we do kinship care and FEMA disaster benefits, benefit overpayments. So if that's from the VA or the Social Security Administration, We also do the claims, the Social Security disability claims. So at the initial level, at the reconsideration level, that's your first appeal if you've been denied. And then we also do the hearings at the Office of Hearings Operations for Social Security with the administrative law judges. We do SNAP food stamps cases, Medicaid denials or cessations, terminations, and we do criminal record expungements and public benefits as well. We have a wills and successions unit. We have child in need of care cases we do, and then a consumer law unit. So they help with consumer debts, filing for Chapter 7 bankruptcy, fraud and identity theft. And then we also have our low income tax clinic. These are all the parishes we serve. If you are outside of here, then you will go to Acadiana Legal Services. So we serve all of these, I think it's 22 parishes in Southeast Louisiana. And then the rest of Louisiana, Acadiana Legal Services, that's our partner organization. They're the legal aid for the rest of Louisiana. This is information about our VA clinics. So we operate every week, twice a week at the New Orleans VA. We are there doing a legal clinic. So we take walk-ins if you want to be screened for your legal issue. We also do same day like power of attorney and notary services and wills. So we're at the New Orleans VA Mondays and Wednesdays every week. And then I go to the Slidell VA and the Hammond VA each once a month. And then we're also at the VA in Baton Rouge. The Baton Rouge North Clinic, we're on Fridays. And then Baton Rouge South Clinic, we're there on Mondays and Wednesdays. So that's a great resource if you have a veteran in your family or you are a veteran. And then I don't have a slide on this, but SLLS, our offices, our big office is in New Orleans. We have one in Baton Rouge, Houma, Gretna, and Covington, and Hammond, if I didn't mention that already. So here's a little bit about the public benefits I'll be talking about today. So these are programs through the state and federal government that provide income support, health coverage, or help with food costs to people with low income, disabilities, older age, or other qualifying circumstances. So I'm going to talk about Social Security benefits, disability and retirement, Medicaid and Medicare, and SNAP food stamps. Each program has its own eligibility rules, financial limits, and application process, and you can find out about those financial limits and eligibility rules online. Again, this is not legal advice. This is legal information. I am an attorney, but I am not your attorney. I am just an attorney providing legal information today. So first, I'll talk about SSI. So you may have heard of two programs, SSI and SSDI. What's the difference? So SSI is supplemental security income. It's a federal program that provides monthly cash assistance to people who are aged, so 65 plus, blind or disabled, and have very limited income and resources. It's for people regardless of their work history. So SSDI, in order to get that, you have to have been working and paying into the Social Security system. With SSI, that's a backup program if you're very low income and you have not worked under the Social Security system. So there are income limits and resource limits also. SSDI does not have resource limits, but SSI does. So the maximum you can get from SSI is $994 a month if you're an individual. And then if you are a couple, then it's $14.91 a month. The resource limit, the asset limit is $2,000 for individuals and $3,000 for couples. If you own a car and a home, the first car and the first home, they don't count against your resource limit. But if you own an additional car or an additional property, then that does count against your resource limit. So say you own two cars and both are estimated, the value is over $2,000, then you're not going to be eligible for for SSI. You're going to have to get rid of one of those cars in order to get SSI. Same with property. If you have two properties and both are worth over $2,000. The program is needs-based. You have to report all income or risk overpayment, benefits, loss. And this is the same case with most public benefit programs. You really have to submit all of your income changes, if you have any, in order to remain eligible. You can get kicked off if you're not staying current about your income. And then some income is not counted in determining eligibility, and certain deductions will apply. So just an overview about SSI. You are either under age 65 and disabled, and you have to prove you're disabled, and they use the same standard as SSDI. It's, can you engage at substantial gainful activity? And then you have to be financially eligible, whereas SSDI doesn't have those limits. And then if you are age 65 and you're doing the old age SSI, which is not based on your disability, they don't require that proof of disability, and you must be financially eligible, of course. Here's information about SSDI. So that's Social Security Disability Insurance. This is monthly benefits for people who have a disability that prevents them from working, and they've worked enough, and they've worked pretty recently. So they've paid into Social Security for enough years. When you apply for SSDI, you will be given a date last insured. So that is the date in the future or the past where you last were eligible for SSDI based on when and how much you last worked. So it's the same disability definition. Your disability is expected to last at least 12 months or result in death, same as SSI. You can't engage in substantial gainful activity. For 2026, substantial gainful activity, I believe that's measured at $1,690 a month. So that's gross earnings. You can work part-time, but if you go over 1,690, then you're going to be financially ineligible for SSDI, and they take that as proof that you can work and you are not disabled enough by their standards. So this is a little bit about work credits, the Social Security taxes you pay. Those are on your pay stubs. You may see those deductions. You can get a maximum of 4 credits per year. The credits are based on your total wages and your employment income for the year. You might work all year to earn 4 credits, or you might earn enough for all 4 in less time. The amount of earnings it takes to earn a credit may change each year. In 2026, you earn 1 Social Security credit for every $1,890 in covered earnings. And you must earn $7,560 to get the maximum 4 credits for the year. There is no resource limit, as I mentioned, for SSDI, unlike SSI, and the benefit amounts vary. It's based on how much you've earned. It's based on your work history. So they look at your W-2 and all that. And then you apply through Social Security. You apply online, by the phone, or at your local Social Security office, just like SSI, just like Social Security retirement. And it's always best to set up a protective filing date with Social Security very early, as soon as you become disabled and can't work. And then you have some months to finish the application and submit that with all of your evidence. And then they process the claim. It does take a while for Social Security to process a claim, usually over a year before you get any sort of decision. It's very hard to get Social Security disability, but you should contact us for help. And it's not impossible. And the reason you want to set up a protective filing date early is because if you are awarded benefits, then they will be retroactive back to the protective filing date if Social Security finds you were disabled that whole time. It's important to build up a good medical record. They will have examiners, Social Security contracts with, they have disability determination services, which is run in Louisiana through DCFS, the Department for Children and Family Services. But but it's good to have additional medical records. So go to the doctor and make sure everything is seen and recorded in your medical records. It's really important to have strong medical evidence for your claim. And then here is about Social Security retirement. So generally, in order to get Social Security retirement, you need about 10 years of work, which is 40 credits, and you must be at least age 62. It doesn't matter, unlike with Social Security disability, it doesn't really matter when you worked. It just matters that you did the minimum. I'm moving to Europe and I expect to retire there. And I've worked enough under Social Security retirement. So in 30-ish years when I retire, I can get my American Social Security, hopefully, if we still have Social Security. And it doesn't matter that I won't have worked under the American Social Security system for a long time. So you can get your Social Security retirement early at age 62, but it's going to be a little bit less than it would be if you wait until your full retirement age. So generally, full retirement age is 67 now if you were born in 1960 or later. If you were born earlier than that, then it's probably 65. And then it depends on your case, what's better. Do early retirement or do regular retirement. It's case by case. There are benefits and negatives to both. So we're happy to help you evaluate that. And then your monthly benefit amount is based on your average indexed monthly earnings over your highest 35 years of earnings. So everybody's retirement or SSDI is going to be different. It's based on their particular earnings. If you continue to work and earn above a certain limit before your FRA, your full retirement age, your benefits will be reduced. However, there is no earnings limit after you reach your FRA. Here's how to apply for SSDI, SSI, retirement. You do it through the Social Security Administration. If you need help, we do those cases. You can do it online, over the phone, or in person at a Social Security office. I always recommend setting up a paper trail, so doing that in writing. And get receipts of when you set up a protective filing date, when you submitted your application, all that. So sometimes Social Security messes up. They make an error and they put your filing date wrong, and you're not getting as much retroactive benefits as you should be getting. So it's always very important to set up a paper trail, collect receipts. Now I will talk about Medicaid. So Medicaid is a state and federal health insurance program for low-income people. So that is children, pregnant women, elderly, and disabled individuals. And it also supports long-term care and home and community waivers, other programs. Eligibility varies by category, whether you're a child, you're a pregnant woman, or you're an adult without a dependent, you're aged, blind, disabled, or you need long-term care. But you do have to meet an income test and other criteria, such as residency, or being a citizen or a qualified immigrant. Sometimes there's some functional or medical need that you have to prove. The financial limits are here at this link, and it changes every year. And then there are spend down categories. So if your income is over the limit, you can make certain deductions if you have high medical expenses. And then they also have certain asset exemptions. So for your home or your car. And this is Medicare. So Medicaid and Medicare are not the same thing. Medicare is a federal health insurance program, separate from Medicaid. Medicaid is state and federal. Medicare is just federal. Medicare covers hospital care, which is Medicare Part A, medical services, Medicare Part B, and prescription drugs, Part D. So Medicare is for people who are age 65 and older, or if you're under 65, but you have a qualifying disability. That kicks in automatically if you've been getting SSDI for 2 years, not SSI, just SSDI. Or if you have an end-stage renal disease or ALS, then you are eligible for Medicare, even if you're under 65. There is no income resource test for Medicare itself. And then there is also the Medicare Savings Program. I'll talk about that next if you need help with your Medicare premiums and you have limited income. So here's a little about the Medicare Savings Program. So that's when Medicaid is paying for your Medicare premiums. This is a great program that has helped a lot of my clients. So helps people with limited income pay for their Medicare premiums. If you're enrolled in Medicare hospital insurance, Part A, you can be placed in one of the 4 groups if you meet the program eligibility requirements. You'll get help with the payment of your Medicare B premiums, and all or part of your Medicare prescription drug plan, Part D. In some cases, the Medicare Part A premium, deductibles, and co-payments are covered. And you have to be eligible for and currently enrolled in Medicare hospital insurance, Medicare Part A, in order to be in the Medicare Savings Program. And there are 4 ways to apply. You can do it online, you can print out a form or submit it by fax or mail it. You can apply over the phone, or you can go in person to your local Medicaid office. They do walk-ins. So here is the difference in how you apply. Medicaid is through the state, so you apply through the Louisiana Department of Health. Medicare is done through the Social Security Administration. Now I'll talk about food stamps, SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. So this is monthly food benefits in the form of an EBT card that helps low-income individuals and family buy grocery stores. They accept EBT at grocery stores and the farmers market, which is awesome. You have to meet certain income and resource limits, like all these programs. You have to live in Louisiana. You have to have legal status, or be an eligible non-citizen. And then you have to provide required documents, like all these programs. Now there are work requirements if you are an able-bodied adult without any dependents. So if you do not have a disability and you do not have dependents, you are going to have some work requirements. You have to work 80 hours a month, which is about 20 hours a week, or participate in a work or training program, or do a combination. But you are exempt from that if you are pregnant, if you're caring for dependents, if you are disabled, you're a veteran, you're experiencing homelessness, or you're in school or a training program. So if that's the case, then you don't have to worry about this work requirement if you're able-bodied. There are financial limits. They look at your resources also, and all of this is just dependent on your household size. And how you apply is you do it through the Louisiana Department of Health, LDH Economic Stability Office. If you've been denied or you've been cut off, we help with those cases. So contact SLLS. And then here are some other food resources. These first few, you can look based on your zip code. That's available throughout Louisiana. And then these are some New Orleans specific food pantry programs. The community fridges are great. And here's how you contact us if you have a legal issue and you want help. You can do an application form online at slls.org. You can call us, or you can walk into our office. Okay.
Thank you so much, Madeline. So now's the time for questions. Feel free to post any questions you have in the Q&A section on Zoom or in the comments section on Facebook. And then can you actually go to the next slide?
Oh, sorry.
No, you're perfect. While we wait for questions, I just want to highlight some additional resources that may be helpful to you. if you have a legal question that was not addressed during this presentation, or you need help getting assistance. So this is the flyer for the LSBA's Find Legal Help page, where you can access a continuum of resources. It includes our attorney directory, the Civil Legal Navigator, legal aid and pro bono organizations, the Modest Means Directory, and self-help services. I'd like to call special attention to the Louisiana Legal Navigator. This is a great sort of diagnostic tool that helps to identify your legal issue and provides customized information, referrals to legal aid, and more. It is simple to use and will give you next steps specific to your issue and or your parish or location. You can also access free legal answers, which is an online pro bono program that allows users to log in whenever and wherever they like and ask civil legal questions and have attorneys answer those questions through the site. It is private and acts almost like an email exchange between the user and the attorney. But please note that you must meet certain income guidelines to use this program. Okay, so do a check for questions. I'm not seeing any questions, but I will give people another minute or two to get those questions in. I'm not seeing anything. Can you go to the next slide for me?
Mhm.
Thank you. Okay. Well, unless a question comes through very quickly, this will be the end of our Law Talk workshop for today. Please save the date for our next Law Talk. It'll be on disaster preparation. It'll be held July 14th at noon. Yeah. All right. I don't see any questions. So thank you so much, Madeline, for presenting on this very important and useful information. I think you did a great job. Thank you so much for donating your time to us today. And I
Thanks for
hope
having
everybody,
me.
of course, I hope everybody
Have a
has a
great
great
rest of your
afternoon.
week.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks.
Bye, y'all.